Hello and welcome to the fifth installment of Umbra user tutorials. This video will provide more details about the relations feature in the Umbra system. By the end of the video, users should be able to assign, access, and effectively use relations. Relations graphs can be useful for analysis in order to visualize the relationships and connections between various targets in a portfolio. The Relations tab itself can be accessed either from the navigation bar on the home page or through the Targets page. The Relations tools enables the analyst to generate a force graph, which is a graph whose vertices can be moved, of the relations among a portfolio's targets. The actual relations that are created between the targets are defined on the page. This is just a way to be able to more easily visualize without having to go through several menus. Just to show quickly where to find the relations graph or just the relations themselves, you can click here in order to access where we can create the relations graph, or go home. If you go to, let's say, the main target, here you can see relations, add, edit relations, and then you can see the actual list of the relations available. In order to generate the graph itself, all setup takes place within the configure relations page, which was the relations graph page that you can access from the top bar. You would select a portfolio and one or more targets, choose a start and end date to only include the targets that were created within that time span. So it allows you to start to narrow down. Maybe you only want to access the targets you created last week instead of every single one you've made. One or more targets may be selected. Hold down the Shift or Command key for multiple targets. After selecting the targets you want displayed on the relations graph, please click Submit. Once you do that, an About and a Relations Graph tab will be generated. Under the About tab, the portfolio tag and target open date range for the graph are displayed. Under the Relations Graph tab, the interactive graph itself will be generated. To the right of the slide, you can see an example of what it should look like, with the targets being the vertices and the lines connecting the targets being the relations. You are able to drag, let's say, the secondary sun target over here, and the whole graph will shift so that you're able to better visualize the connections. The relations graph can be viewed in the reports tool, which will be covered later on in this tutorial series. I will give you a hands-on example of how to create a relations graph. Here I get to select one of the portfolio options. I'll choose John Doe, and I could just choose one target. But if I control click or if I shift click, then I get to select multiple. So just for now, let's select all of them. And dates, let's say I only wanted to do the targets that I created at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week. I could select that, but just so you can see how much can be shown in a relations graph, let's just leave it open-ended. So then I submit. Under the About section is the portfolio where it comes from and the dates that were selected. And under the relations graph, as you can see, we have all 5 targets selected. And here you can see the arrow leading this way, that says family, the arrow going this way saying family, and you are able to grab each of the names in order to perhaps better visualize it. So if you want to have daughter here, you can put it there. You can essentially rearrange it whatever way you want that is best for viewing. Just as a quick reminder, following the example that I gave, that the relations defined in the graph can be accessed through the target page within the portfolio, and in addition, the relations graph will be able to be viewed within the reports tool, which will be covered later on in this tutorial series. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and please watch the upcoming tutorials.